Hello and a warm welcome to Keeping It Real by Housing.com, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of real estate, track trends, explore insights in conversation with experts. I'm your host, Gaurav Chaudhary. In this episode, we're going to dive deep into the Chennai property market. There's lots happening there. It's always buzzy. It's got very busy so far as real estate is concerned. And of course, that's a function of what's happening there in terms of economic activity. There are new emerging hotspots that have come about, new micro markets. There is an impact of infrastructure development that is now getting visible in the real estate space. And of course, the new address and the destination seems to be areas like the OMR or the old Mahabalipuram road. We'll talk about all of this and much more with an expert who knows much more than what is happening in the real estate space in Chennai and South India and of course rest of India. I have with me E Jayashree Kurup, Director Real Estate and Cities at Wordmeister Editorial Services LLP. Welcome to the show, Jayashree. Delighted to have you.
Thank you.
Jayashree, let's start with a very basic question on Chennai. It's about the real estate hotspots. What's driving demand in Chennai? Is it the overall economic activity? Is it also the expansion of urban infrastructure? Is Chennai creating more jobs and attracting people from the rest of the country? Can you walk us through the emerging localities and what's happening there?
I consider Chennai almost as a stepney in South India. When Bangalore and Hyderabad are moderated markets, Chennai chugs along. When Bangalore values go through the roof, a lot of people start moving to Chennai because the quality of manpower in Chennai is exceedingly good. Right. And very structured market. It has its infrastructure, and in fact, the entire OMR was the first planned IT corridor. I think. Maybe one of the first in the country in the late 1990s. Right. So that time it was only commercial, no residential whatsoever. Then residential came up. So you are seeing that it's a very structured market. And today, of course, there is so much infrastructure development happening. So it gets the spillover of IT demand. And it's also, auto is a very big driver there. And there's so much business happening in Chennai.
Right. So it's a function of economic activity and various other factors. Let's talk about the OMR effect. Old Mahabalipuram Road. It's red hot. It's become a red hot destination so far as property is concerned. Why does it remain an enduring favorite of not just now the IT professionals, but also everyone else?
Because Chennai did not displace one category of people from the market. Right. If you look at places like Gurgaon, like Bombay, like Bangalore, they displaced the people who don't have vast pots of money. You can only enter those markets when you have enough money and more. But Chennai has affordable, it has mid-range properties, and it has very, very premium, extremely good quality properties, luxury properties. Mm-hmm. So it's a very integrated, holistic market, which is how Chennai has always been. Now let's talk about OMR itself. The red hot localities like Sholinganallur, like Thoraipakkam, these places are hot because they are right in the middle of the OMR. You can go towards Siruseri, you can go towards Mount Road. Both are equally accessible from there. And it's also, the OMR and ECR are parallel roads. ECR being the beach road and OMR being the main, it was the first, I think, 6-lane highway that was created in the city. Right. So access is there, space is there, and all kinds of social infrastructure has come, schools, hospitals, entertainment hubs, and so on. So it's a good lifestyle. And for young people, for even older people, it's a great lifestyle to pick up, which is why it remains red hot.
Absolutely. Jayashree, there are also the South Chennai rising stars, Pallikaranai and Porur, and they are the rising residential hubs. What's behind their attractiveness?
See, Pallikaranai was the marshland, right? It's now a Ramsar site. It is a protected marshland. And because of that, it is an incredibly beautiful place. If you go towards Pallikaranai, the wildlife, the bird life is incredible. Right. So you're staying in the heart of the city. You're staying right next to IT corridors, but you're still very, very close to the forest land and the waters and things like that. So I think Pallikaranai is and good quality infrastructure and properties too. Porur actually, I think it's very well connected to the central Chennai, and it's easily accessible to the airport region, which is a very good combination for any business oriented place, which is why Porur is so popular.
There's also about the next big things as being talked about, Thoraipakkam and Chengalpattu. Are these the next big things in Chennai? Are they poised to become the hottest destinations in some years in Chennai?
I think so, because of the metro construction happening. Thoraipakkam will be connected eventually, and once that happens, there is a lot of, that Sholinganallur, Thoraipakkam, that corridor will become very good. And as it is, Thoraipakkam has social infrastructure, it has good quality housing, all categories of housing, which is the same in Porur as well. All categories of housing, so nobody is eliminated from that area. So I think this is why, and good infrastructure coming up is always good for a city.
And what about builders? You think the biggest builder, of course, there is Casa Grande. So you think it's setting benchmarks there?
Absolutely. Casa Grande has been setting benchmarks for a long time. They've focused on quality. They've developed in different parts of the city, and Thoraipakkam is one of their hotspots, right?
That's right. Let's talk a little bit about the new vectors of growth. What are the opportunities that you are seeing from the vantage point that you sit here in Chennai so far as real estate is concerned?
See, Chennai is equally strong in business, in manufacturing, and in IT, right? If you travel towards the Mahabalipuram, Siruseri side, there is so much industrial activity happening, and that drives the demand there. And when you say industrial in Chennai, it's not only blue collar work, right? There's a lot of white collar jobs happening in Chennai, which is happening also in the other segment where the Mahindra city and so on. So you see that a good quality mix of business as well as lifestyle is one of the reasons, and upcoming infrastructure. I rate CMRL, the Chennai Metro Rail Corporation, one of the finest metro corporations in the country. It's focused on quality, it's focused on speed, and the speed at which CMRL has been completing its projects, I haven't seen in many cities.
Clearly, you spoke in detail about how infrastructure has been the driving force of development of residential property and of driving the real estate market. Has it got into a situation where it's now supplies are trying to play catch up with demand? Do you think demand has kind of outpaced supplies, or and that is also it's pushing demand because jobs are getting created across different sectors of the economy? Demand continues to remain very high. Are these the key drivers?
Yes, I think so. And more supply needs to come in Chennai. Unlike in Bangalore, where there is endless construction, Chennai develops at a slower pace. And I think suddenly, because Chennai has become red hot as a South Indian destination for the IT especially, I think there is way more demand. And that has, maybe there is a slight mismatch between supply and demand. But also remember that Chennai, the demand is for all categories of property. Villa is very much in demand. plotted properties are very much in demand, and these are still coming into the market. And if you remember the history of Chennai, all these different municipalities were agglomerated into the Greater Chennai Municipal Corporation, and therefore the Greater Chennai, there is endless scope to grow, even though it is a linear city.
So the buyers' preferences have evolved very, very rapidly, or evolving very rapidly in Chennai. Are consumers getting more and more demanding?
I think so. In Chennai, in fact, one of the suppliers of interiors said that in Chennai, if you come up with some new product, they will go around, do intense market research before they decide what is the interior that they want. It is a very, very educated, erudite city, and that shows in the preferences that come to.
Thank you so much, Jayashree, for sharing your deep insights and perspectives and taking the time out and dropping by to have this conversation with us.
Not at all. My pleasure.
That's it from us for this episode of Keeping It Real by Housing.com, where we keep it real always. If you're a pro or a beginner, this is the destination to be if you want to know anything about what's happening inside India's real estate industry. You can catch the episode on Housing.com, on the Housing.com app, on the YouTube channel of Housing.com, on earshot.in, on Spotify.com, on Apple Podcasts, on Geo7, and a host of other podcast streaming platforms and directories. Take care and stay safe.